Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most overpowered RAFA build in Borderlands 4. This is following up on a build that I posted 7 months ago, and you can one-shot the bosses here. Now, it's actually pretty crazy, so what we're doing is we're going to be spawning in grenades every time that we're able to get crits, and then with Groundbreaker we can stack up the damage, and you saw it there, we're able to take out Subjugator really quickly. Now, what's even crazier about this is we can use the red skill tree. I previously posted a build where I was using the blue skill tree, as per my last used to be super broken, but you're gonna see this here that the damage is just insane with this. I do expect this to probably get nerfed in the future because they have a love for nerfing Rafa, but while it stands, this is insanely powerful and it works against both of the bosses, so Subjugator and Thol. So yeah, we were able to take him out really quickly there. We're going against the flying boss here now. And the trick is to use a support drone here, so you can shoot one of those off, bring out a different weapon that's going to have extra fire damage on it, and then we can go into our action skill, scale up our damage because we're receiving a bunch of healing, and it just absolutely shreds. So this is great because it's good against pretty much all the content in the game. We're going to be adding a bunch of extra damage onto our melee here, and this is a risky move, but we were able to do a ton of damage, and we took him out there, and no, weird. That's the only downside. So the gameplay loop, I really like to shoot off the support drone there, which is going to give us healing for our altered cabron. You can throw your grenades here, and then we want to go into our action skill so we start to get the damage to scale up to insane values. So for whatever reason, I have Subjugator to the invincible and Thol the invincible here in this fight, but you can see Thol just got ripped a new one really quickly. This can get you the platinum time pretty consistently, and it is a little bit risky if you go against Subjugator. As mentioned, I posted this build 7 months ago, and it used to be insane. I predicted it would get nerfed, and it got nerfed pretty shortly thereafter, so hopefully this one won't end up getting nerfed too, because it is pretty insane damage. And the sad state of Rafa's red skill tree right now, this is the best that we got. Now, I did post a build recently where we'd use the beam tossers. You can still bring these to the fight because they actually help out quite a bit, but we want to have a support drone here, which is going to heal us. That healing will activate the altered cabron here, which is going to give us a nice boost to our corrosive damage. We can then also pair on things like midnight oil, basically taking every possible skill to give us bonus damage, because these extra procs are going to end up scaling up all of our damage here. And then with things like infernal protocol, this is a required one here. This is pretty crazy. It makes it risky, but honestly, you don't really have any problem, as you guys saw there. This will store all the damage that is dealt to us, and what's fun about this is with booming business we spawn grenades, which can hurt ourselves a bit, further fueling our damage here, and we are going to spawn a lot of grenades because we have a pretty solid crit chance. And from the Ordnance damage we get our Synergia here, which is going to increase our gun damage, which is further increasing our action skill damage. Collaborative Ignition here is going to give us even further damage, and then scaling into the red skill tree here, we can actually get some pretty nice things like Herga here, which lets us stay in our action skill pretty much for the entire fight. Resilience here is going to give us increased damage reduction. As an overdrive skill too, it does scale a little bit. So also with Maestro here, giving us increased skill damage. And oddly enough, asymmetric warfare also does apply to this, which then lets us take Aaron Spark and get ourselves even further bonus damage to further scale up everything in general. Now, per my last, it used to be counted as an overdrive skill, so it used to give you like 120% chance of double damage, which is why this build used to be so powerful in the past. Now, there's actually a bug right now with Jaque and Mate. It's actually posted on the Borderlands official site as of 3 days ago that Jaque stats don't actually convert to Mate stats after overdrive ends. So I was experimenting with the blue skill tree as I've used in the past, but we still can get capstones like per my mask from the Buster class mod, oddly enough being really powerful here. And we're doing a good amount of critical hits, so we're able to get some lifesteal here. Honestly, this build is pretty insane. It's something I've been working on for a while now. I've been spending a lot of hours on Rafa, and yeah, this one shreds. That was a lengthy yap session. I'm just going to start off right here from the beginning at level 1, explain all the decisions that make this make sense. Handshake deal, more melee damage and gun damage, especially early game, that's huge, so we're rolling with that. Now this build actually benefits a lot from taking single points in a lot of skills, so we'll take a single point in midnight oil here, getting bonus corrosive damage per stack. We don't really need a lot of points in this. We're just trying to grab as much damage as possible so that we can have multiple sources added into this. We're then going to grab Dial in here when we damage anything with a melee attack and gain critical hit chance. This will stack up and stacks remove whenever we lose or get a crit. We're mostly taking this so we can grab Saldar. And then we're going to toss in Diamond Hands. Now, this is pretty crazy because this gives us increased gun damage, 20 stacks. And since we're not actually dealing gun damage, this won't actually decay these stacks. And what's even crazier about this, we can use Specializations to add this back into the damage that we're dealing. At this point, we can then grab our point in Saldar here. And at this point, at the start, I grabbed a point of hard cell. It's not super necessary, but it basically is going to give us overshield based on our shield amount. Early game, this is good. Later on, you're going to burn through that overshield in like 0.1 seconds. And we want to have our shield up as much as possible. The El Carazon here will actually turn our maximum health capacity into shield capacity. So you can go with this, or we can put more points into Midnight Oil. This will give us even further bonus damage, but for survivability's sake, this is a good choice. And we can just take a second point into this. Now, we're wanting to go down into the middle skill tree here, but also grab a lot of these benefits here, but it's best to go into the middle here first so that we're able to grab ourselves the Collaborative Ignition. So Rafa deals bonus damage with all skills and ordinances in the element of his current gun while overdrive is active. Why this is important is because we're going against a lot of red health bars, so you want to hold a incendiary gun to be able to get that bonus damage as fire damage. This just scales up the damage quite a bit. Now, we also have some very powerful skills here. Booming business. Whenever we critically hit an enemy, we get a chance to spawn a free grenade. So this is going to be good because there's actually some pretty powerful grenades in the game. I was using Waterfall, the Don't Go Jason Waterfall for a while, but there's even better choices we'll cover in the gear section. I also like to grab Synergia here. Whenever we deal ordnance damage, he also deals increased gun and melee damage. This effect will stack up and give us insane scaling because, again, we're adding melee and gun damage on top of everything. So basically what's happening is we're using our weapons here, we're marking enemies, increasing the damage they take, but also increasing the damage that we deal. But if you get lucky, you can also just one-shot the boss, and it's actually insane. Now at this point, we're going to grab a single point in El Diablito here, which whenever we deal incendiary damage, we're getting an additional instance of bonus incendiary damage, which is great because, again, it's going to scale up and grab us all of our extra damage scaling. So at this point, for our augment, Alter Quebran, this is really good. So whenever we kill an enemy with arc knives, we restore a portion of our health. So this is going to give us some extra sustain. Just be mindful that the mobs in this arena are going to have over 6 million health. They're a pain in the rear to take care of. Whenever Rafa gains health, he gets bonus corrosive damage with all attacks and gains movement speed. This effect will stack. This is pretty crazy because it's a bonus of 10% per heal. That's why I shot off the support drone at the start there so that you can get this scaling up really quickly, really fast. And furthermore to this, it pairs exceptionally well with Infernal Protocol. This makes you hurt yourself so that your health goes down and back up with our support drone. And this is great too if you're playing with friends. If they have like a kill spring, you can actually be pretty insane the damage that you scale up, and your friends will just play medic to your damage. But basically what this is also doing is it's going to be every instance of damage that we take, and this includes the damage that we're dealing to ourselves, will build up and we can release it with our right click when we use Blade Fury. And what's fun about this is when we're in our arc knives, we can't throw grenades, but we got grenades anyway. At this point though, we're going to take a single point into Blowed here. Whenever we apply a mark or critically hit an enemy with an action skill, they explode a corrosive lobbed projectile. The longer Rafa's action skill has been active, the more corrosive projectiles are spawned. You can have up to 6 of these, has a 4-second cooldown, but again, it's just extra damage to add into the mix. And since we do a lot of splash damage, we're going to grab this, and the critical chance here is really important because the more crits that we have, that scales around. Whenever we critically hit an enemy, we get a free grenade. So it all comes full circle. We're then going to go ahead and take a single point here. So when we deal splash damage, we get bonus shock damage. Again, the more extra damage sources we have, the faster all of this scales up and just becomes crazy. And then Protecto Pulse, when we press the right click on our arc knives are active, whenever we re-trigger the action skill, we're going to lose some of our shield, but we deal shock damage. Again, every extra instance of damage that we can get is important. Now we're also going to throw in the red skill tree here because this does some pretty great stuff for us. Now, the recharge delay and recharge, this is okay. Shield Barriers gives us a little bit more survivability, allowing our shield to recover, but I found it doesn't really matter. We're just going to grab Sidier here for the increased gun damage, which does actually in fact give us some extra action skill damage. You can grab Shield Barriers though if you wanted to. Fire rate does not matter at all to us because we're not firing a single gun. We're mostly coming here to grab Herga here. This is a skill it's one of the essential skills for Rafa. When we critically hit an enemy, which again is going to be often because we got grenades popping off everywhere dealing crits, we get our action skill duration restored. So what's fun about this is that you're going to get 15% of it every 4 seconds, and the best part about that is like we're dropping grenades. There's a lot of mobs in the arena that are just going to keep getting crits, so you're constantly going to see your action skill go back up. Now we have a few options here. I like the Maestro to give ourselves even further increased skill damage, which is going to impact a lot of our entire tree basically here. And I guess the entire skill there. Take 2 points of Resiliencia. This is going to give us increased damage reduction when overdrive is active. You could also grab Sia, as it's going to give you shield restore based on your maximum health. Even though our maximum health is depleted a little bit, it's still not a bad option for sustain. Field repairs just kind of sucks because we don't activate our action skill that much. We stay in our action skill pretty much the entire fight. So Resiliencia gives us some damage reduction, which is just nice to help out with survivability's sake. And we can take this a further step by grabbing Vitriol here, which is going to give ourselves additional corrosive damage, confetti for the bonus damage here, and this is going to be based on our gun's element. You can just ignore that and put 2 points in the confetti here. And again, we want to have the fire damage out as much as possible. Asymmetric warfare, oddly enough, will work on this. Increases damage with indirect projectiles, action skill weapons, thrown guns, projectiles not fired from your guns. Typically, we'd use this with like a ricochet style build. But the thing is, we're coming down here so that we can get bonus incendiary damage. And if it already deals it, it doubles the bonus damage. So again, further stacking up, we're getting a ton of extra stuff mixed into the overall flow of our build here. I did experiment today with some builds that came down and grabbed per my last. It's just insanely powerful, but there's a class mod that just gives us this, so that's just the best choice. Because funny enough, the Buster class mod works great here. I tried the Dancer. Dancer, after its nerf, is just not that great. What we want to do is try to get as many points into the permalast as possible. Again, they used to count this as an overdrive skill, so it used to scale up with insane return on investment, and that's why the Dancer was so good on this previously. But double damage chance, 30%, that's amazing when we're doing insane stacks of damage. This gives us an RNG component, but you're going to be knifing away often, so this can just trigger many times. Also, 2 points in Conduct Devo was great whenever we get increased status effect chance and also further increased shock chance, so we want to use any type of shock damage as possible. Now, our shield is an interesting one. Now, I was told to use this here. Sparky Shield is just so crazy because this just gives us even more damage. Now, there is some other ones that would fit this build, like the Watts for Dinner, giving ourselves that extra shock damage. If you can get a good roll of that, that works great. If you're mobbing, Fireworks is just going to be the best in slot. But we want this one here just for that extra possible damage. Whenever energy shield is not full, which is often, we will put shock enemies, and this got a buff to make it even better. So this works really well. And we'll also throw in any type of enhancement here that's going to give ourselves gun damage is just good. Doesn't really matter which one, but we're also going to use the Destructo Disco here, which is a word to Krillin, really good on this. If you can find it with Nuke, increasing the gun damage and the damage radius and the cooldown, we don't care about the cooldown since we're dropping these for free. You can throw them out at the start of phases or if you go out of your action skill, but yeah, this is just extremely powerful. If you don't have it, you can also throw on like Blockbuster and even the Waterfall. I did mess around with Scully. I like the Scully, it just doesn't work that well. Waterfall will work in a pinch too. I did have a few different types of these, but you want to have the Waterfall. I did trade it over to another character with the Singularity, the Lingering Payload, not Singularity, the one that's going to allow it to spray around in an area of effect to increase the overall damage. But this is just so powerful. This is a good bossing grenade, and on a build that's just getting free grenades endlessly, this is really good. Shock damage too, super powerful. And we're also going to go with a triple bypass. I have one with Leech here because this will give us lifesteal, which this build really likes to have. You don't need this though. You could also go with the Kill Spring because it's going to give us those healing orbs, which will help us out as well. And as mentioned, if you're playing with friends, have them equip a Kill Spring. Make sure it's a Kill Spring that's got a really short cooldown, like this one's got the 13 seconds. This would be a good one too. On use, increases melee damage dealt by 50% for 8 seconds. So you could alternatively use this as it gives you healing over time. I just have a Action Fist on this one, which is leading us into our firmware. Now, Skillcraft is so insanely powerful. There's some builds like the red skill tree for cash that this just slaps. It's critical hit chance is what we're looking for. So 3 would be ideal, and you can get this at Ultimate Vault Hunter 6. You can also get the new firmware at Ultimate Vault Hunter 6. This is just super useful to have, increasing skill damage up to 50%, which just scales our damage to insane numbers. And furthermore, Action Fist gives us increased melee damage and action skill damage. So again, we're doing that a lot. So these two are just very good. You can get by without these, but I would recommend having them. It just makes things a lot easier. Now our weapons are kind of funny because we don't use them, but if you can get yourself an Assaultomatic here, this with the alt-fire support drone will give you a thing that's going to give you plus 20% damage, movement speed, reload rate, and heals you. This is again going to allow us to stack up and generate our Altered Cabron here, because whenever we gain health, we're going to get that. We're going to be hurting ourselves and our skills. So this just completes it. It's really useful. This is something that I was using in the previous build that I posted 7 months ago. It's just really good to have. You also would like to have a fire weapon. Now, they don't really matter which. I have a Stellium here because I was using an under barrel build that just really did use this to its most effectiveness. But if you get any of the new pearlescence, make sure it's not the override, but the main damage that's fire, because that's what the weapon, what our ordnance will end up taking. If you want a mob and be really good, the Screwstonian is actually a really fun build. There's 4 new pearlescent SMGs. This one's really fun because it creates singularities. So you can shoot this off before you even go into a fight. It'll just grab everyone in an area of effect and you just go and slice them up. It's really fun. You feel like Trunks from Dragon Ball. Trunks mixed with Krillin. So this is fun too, but any fire weapon will do. It's your personal preference here. You could even have like a hair trigger, which sucks. And it's just we're basically just taking it for the elemental damage that will add to our weapon. Collaborative ignition. Now, honestly, you need to have Groundbreaker on this. Gun action skill and ordnance damage is stored, so all those sweet grenades we're dropping are then going to give ourselves bonus kinetic melee damage on stored damage and consume it. This does 20% of the stored damage, but we're going to be shredding through things. This also is action skill damage. It's kind of funny how this works, but this is an essential part of this build. We're also going to throw on Honed Mind. Again, critical hit chance is super good on this because every time that we crit, we have a chance to drop in grenades, and it's just something you want to do. I Am a Gun will take those gun damage increases and throw it into our melee action skill, I should say. Bare Arms is another alternative, but it's just better to go with the I Am a Gun, as Diamond Hand makes this a little bit silly. And for the final one, we need our action skill back on demand. This is just how you're easily you don't need this. Again, the only necessary one really is Groundbreaker, but now with Caffeine, pop the triple bypass 3 times, you got your action skill back. If you're using the Kill Spring, you'd probably want to swap this out for the Bare Arms and just maximize your damage potential. But Hairgun lets us stay in our action skill just a lot. So I showed this off at the start of the live, but I'm going to show you guys this again. So pop your ability there. I like to throw with the grenades, go into your action skill, and then it's going to start scaling up the Altered Cabron. So we got 8, 9, 10 there. Sweet. The only struggle is hitting stupid freaking Subjugator here. So we got our grenade popping and it's doing some crits there. You like it when he drops down, yeah, one shot him, there we go. Once the damage gets scaled up, it's pretty insane. And we want to try and get crits off as often as possible. So every mob that enters the arena, this is nice. So yeah, you can see it there, 2-shot Thol. And this is an Ultimate Vault Hunter 7. This is really reliable. You can't throw grenades while you're in this phase. And the tough part is right now, because we're trying to grab Subjugator here, as we don't want to go against Subjugator in the second phase you saw from the start of the video. So we're trying our best to then just jump up. Thol is getting in the way here. Our right click will sometimes not be very reliable. This is the only place where it struggles. Oh, I went down, lovely. And when we're going off, we're going to shoot out our support drone, toss out our grenades in the area that he's going to go to. I forgot to swap over my gun to the fire damage one, but it isn't fully necessary. It just makes this clear time a lot quicker. So you're going to want to use your right click as often. Yeah, you can see that you don't even need to swap around to the fire damage because we're just scaling our damage up so insane. With the grenades popping out everywhere, we're then also getting our Groundbreaker damage off of those. So it absolutely shreds. Now, I just recorded a video where I ranked all of the Vault Hunters. I did put Rafa at the bottom because his main one, where he's a soldier, he wants to use guns. If you play with the Peacebreaker cannons, you can't really get the platinum time in Ultimate Vault Hunter 7. It just doesn't do really any damage. I expect this to get nerfed at some point, as this build here got nerfed in the past as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it doesn't, because this thing is actually pretty insane. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, hit the subscribe button below, and I hope you guys all have an incredible day. We'll catch you in the next one.